So introduction. LIDAR is an acronym for light detection and ranging. The LIDAR is an acronym for light detection and ranging. That is nothing but it is the abbreviation of light detection and ranging. That's what LIDAR, LIDAR. Okay, so it is an optical remote sensing technology that can measure the distance to or other properties of a target by illuminating the target with the light pulse to form an image. That is nothing but illuminating is nothing but to cover by covering that area with the lights. That will by covering a particular area which you want to measure, that by covering that area with the light pulse, it will create an image. So it will be that area will be surveyed. So that is what illuminating the target with the light pulse to form an image. So the LIDAR is an optical remote sensing technology. It is an optical remote sensing technology which can measure the distance to or other properties of a target by illuminating the light. But that is nothing but by using the laser lights, it will cover that area to form an image. So LIDAR is nothing but light detection and ranging. So this is the one of the type of LIDAR. There are many types in LIDAR. Okay, so this will be this is called as mobile ranging. Okay, the LIDAR is an active remote sensing technique similar to radar, but here it uses the laser light pulses instead of radio waves. Instead of radio waves, here in LIDAR it uses the laser light pulses, as I told just now. Okay, so most LIDAR system operate in near infrared range of electromagnetic spectrum, that is 1064 nm. Nm is nothing but nanometer. Here they'll use the infrared range laser lights. Okay, the LIDAR instrument can rapidly measure the Earth's surface at sampling rate greater than 150 kilohertz. The resulting product is densely spaced network of highly accurate geo-referenced elevation points or point cloud. The point cloud is nothing but the highly collected points. So it can be used to generate the 3D presentation of Earth surface. It can be this LIDAR is used to generate the 3D representation of the Earth surface. So this the resulting product of this LIDAR is densely spaced network of highly accurate geo-referenced elevation points or point cloud. That is nothing but when you conduct a survey of a ground, the topography of a ground, by using this LIDAR, it will the result of that conducting the survey by this LIDAR is a densely spaced network of highly accurate geo-referenced elevation points. That is when it capture the image, it will be a densely spaced network of that topography. It will give a thorough picture or an image of that ground. So there are, as I told, there are many types of LIDAR. So mainly there are two basic types of LIDAR, that is airborne LIDAR and terrestrial LIDAR. So in airborne LIDAR, the system is installed in either a fixed wing aircraft or helicopter. The LIDAR is installed on an fixed wing aircraft or an helicopter. The LIDAR is installed on an helicopter. The infrared laser light is emitted toward the ground and returned to the moving airborne LIDAR sensor. I'll tell you how it works. That is the light emitted towards the ground and returned to the moving LIDAR. By that it will capture an image. It will capture an image of that ground. Okay, so in airborne lidar, the lidar is the instrument is installed on the helicopter, and the survey will be conducted by laser light, the emitting the laser light on the ground and return to the moving airborne lidar sensor. Okay, so there are two types of airborne sensor, that is topographic lidar and bathymetric lidar. So topographic lidar is used to derive the surface models for use in many applications such as forestry, hydrology, geomorphology, urban planning, landscape ecology, coastal engineering, survey assessments and volumetric calculations. So topographic means this will use to derive the surface models. To get the survey of the surface models on the ground, we go for topographic lidar. Here you can see this is the laser light which is emitted on the ground. Okay, so bathymetric lidar is nothing but this type of lidar is used in the water penetration to conduct the survey of area which is covered by water. In that case, we'll go for bathymetric lidar. So most bathymetric lidar system collect elevation and water depth simultaneously. They'll give the elevation of that water level and the depth of water level, which provides an airborne lidar survey of the land water interface. So with the bathymetric lidar survey, the infrared light, that is traditional laser system, is reflected back to the aircraft from the land and water surface, while additional green laser travels through the water column. Here the traditional laser light, which is the infrared, will reflect on the groundwater and reflect back to the aircraft from the land or water, and here they will go for another one additional laser light, so that is green laser, that will travel through the water column, that is through the water depth of the water. So analysis of the two distinct pulses are used to establish the water depths. So here they have to go for the traditional infrared laser and also green laser to analyze the water depths and shoreline elevations, water depths and shoreline elevations. So bathymetric information is very important near coastlines, in harbors and near shores and banks. So in harbors, shores, banks, coastline areas, they'll go for bathymetric lidar to conduct the survey or to get an image or to get an elevation or depth of water. So this bathymetric information is also used to locate the objects on the ocean floor. This is also used to locate the objects on the ocean floors. So next is terrestrial lidar. So this terrestrial lidar collects very dense and highly accurate points, which allows the precise identification of the objects. That is nothing but it will collect if you are going to conduct a survey on one particular area, so it will collect each and every point on that area, on that ground. That is why it is called as it collects a very dense, means it will collect each and every point of that ground. So that is what terrestrial. So these dense point clouds can be used to manage facilities, conduct highway and railway surveys, and even create the 3D city models for the exterior and interior spaces spaces. Okay, so by this terrestrial is which is ground or near the ground, on the ground. So this terrestrial lidar can be used for the conducting the highway and railway surveys, for that is a good in considerable city where you are to take the highway lines and railway lines. For that it is useful, and also to create the 3D model of that city for exterior and interior. So there are two main types of terrestrial lidars, which are mobile lidar and static lidar. Mobile lidar and static lidar. Mobile lidar I have shown you the picture at starting. That is nothing but in this the lidar is installed on a moving vehicle. See, lidar is installed on a moving vehicle. So here the mobile lidar is the collection of the lidar point clouds from the moving platform. So as I told, moving vehicles they'll use that. Mobile lidar system can include any number of lidar sensors mounted on a moving vehicle. So it will include any number of lidar sensors which are mounted on a moving vehicle. So this system can be mounted on vehicles, trains and even boats. So this mobile lidar you can go for for this mobile lidar you can adopt vehicles, trains and even boats also. So mobile systems typically consist of a lidar sensors, cameras, GPS, that is nothing but global positioning system, and it also consists the INS, that is inertial navigation system, just as with the airborne lidar system. Okay, just like airborne lidar system, but where the in airborne lidar system the lidar is mounted on a helicopter, but here it will be mounted on a moving vehicle. So mobile lidar data can be used to analyze the road infrastructure and locate the encroaching overhead wires, light poles, road signs near the roadways or railways. So this can be used for all this purpose. So now next is static radar. Static radar is the collection of lidar point clouds from the static location, from the fixed location. Typically the lidar sensor is mounted on a tripod mount and is a fully portable laser based ranging and imaging system. That is nothing but here the lidar is mounted on a tripod mount. One that is nothing but this lidar is kept on a tripod instrument to take the survey of the static area, one fixed area. So this is a fully portable laser based ranging and imaging system. By giving the lasers, by emitting the lasers, it will range the area and cover the images, that is it will take the pictures. These system can collect lidar point clouds inside the buildings as well, and buildings as well as exteriors. So these type of static lidar system point clouds, even this can take the points inside the buildings as well as exteriors. So common applications for this type of lidars are engineering, mining, surveying and archaeology. So in mining you can go for static lidar, because in mining one area is fixed, you have to conduct survey of that area only. So in that case you can go for lidar. Even in archaeology. Okay, so basic principle and techniques of this lidar. This is the first one is laser generates an optical pulse. Pulse is a reflected of an object and returns to the system receiver. So here what happens, when you emit the laser, it will go on an object and it will returns to the system receiver, so hence creating the picture. High speed counter measures the time of flight from the start pulse to the return pulse. Here the one high speed counter will measure the time of that pulse, time of travel time of that pulse from the start pulse to the return pulse. So time measurement is converted to a distance, that is nothing but the distance to the target, and the position of aeroplane is then used to determine the deviation and location. So here the time measurement is converted in distance, nothing but when the time is measured from the start pulse to return pulse, then a position of aeroplane is used to determine the deviation and location. So next we'll go through the working of this lidar. See how the laser produces, first the laser produces the optical pulse, then the pulse is transmitted, reflected and returned to the receiver. Then that pulse is transmitted, reflected and returned to the receiver. Receivers accurately measure the travel time, as I told just now. So So XYZ ground coordinates can be calculated using the laser range, laser scan angle, laser position from GPS, laser orientation from INS. With the help of these fours, it will calculate the coordinates, that is distances. See, the next we'll go through the components. The four major components of LiDAR are laser, scanner and optics, LiDAR sensor and photodetectors, and position and navigation system. So laser, here the airborne LiDAR system uses the 1064 nanometer diode pumped ag lasers, while bathymetric system use the 53 nanometer double diode pumped lasers. Okay, laser is nothing but to laser which illuminate that area with the light pulse, that is what laser, producing the lights. See, LiDAR and scanners, LiDAR scanners and optics. The speed at which image can be developed is affected by the speed at which it can be scanned into the system. That is nothing but in the which speed the image is scanned in the system, in that speed the image is formed. Okay, how fastly the scanning is done, based on that the image will form. If the scanning is done quickly, then image, you will get the image also quickly. So the moreover optic choice affect the angular resolution and range that can be detected. So this choice of this optic can affect the resolution. So LiDAR sensors, photodetectors. Here the LiDAR sensor is designed for obstacle or detection, the obstacle detection and navigation of autonomous ground vehicles and marine vessels. This LiDAR sensors is designed for the obstacle detection and navigation of autonomous ground vehicles and vessels. Its durability, 360 field views and very high data rate makes the sensor ideal for 3D mobile data collection and mapping application. So by these photodetectors it will be easy to collection and mapping applications. The two main photodetector technologies which are used in the LiDARs are solid state photodetectors and photomultipliers. Position and navigation system. When a LiDAR sensor is mounted on a mobile platform such as aeroplanes or the automobiles, it is necessary to determine the absolute position and orientation of the sensor to retain the usable data. So when the LiDAR is mounted on any type of mobile platform, that is nothing but it may be a automobile, it may be on any vehicle, or it may be on aeroplane or helicopter. So it should determine the absolute position and very orientation of the sensor to retain the usable data. That means nothing but when it will determine the absolute position of that vehicle, then only it will be easy to calculate travel time and distance. So that will be done by positioning and navigation system. For this they will go for the technique, that is GPS and IMU, global positioning system and inertial measurement system. With the help of these two, they will collect the navigation position and navigation system of that sensor. So here you can see this is GPS satellite. GPS provides the aircraft position. As I told just now, you must know the position of that aircraft to calculate the travel and distance, right? So GPS satellite which provides the position of that aircraft. IMU records the aircraft attitude. Okay, so laser scan the lines first. GPS ground reference station. So this is how it works. See some of the examples of LiDAR. Aerial photo trapping. See, so this is the contour lines, digital 3D fly through. These are the some of the features using LiDARs. So application. So these LiDAR may used in agriculture, biology and conservations, wind farm optimization and law enforcement. In agriculture, it can be used to help the farmers to determine the which area of their fields is to apply costly fertilizer to achieve the highest crop yield. That is nothing but it can create a topographical map of the fields and reveals the slope and sun exposure of the farmland. So by this way they'll get to know how to fertilize the ground, and next how to get the crop yield, highest crop yield. So next is biology and conservation. That is, this lidar has also found many application in forestry, canopy heights, biomass measurements, and leaf area. That is in forest area. In conducting the survey in forest area, it will be used, and it is also used in many industries, including energy, railroad, and Department of Transport as a faster way of surveying. So this can be used in highways, railways. Topographic maps can also be generated readily from the lidar. Topographic maps, you can generate the topographic maps of a particular area using this lidar. Wind farm optimization. This lidar can be used to increase the energy output from wind farms by accurately measuring the wind speeds and wind turbulence. By applying this lidar sensors, you can measure the wind speed and wind turbulence. So that an experimental lidar is mounted on a wind turbulence rotor to measure the oncoming horizontal winds and protectively adjust the blades to protect the components and increase the power. So that wind farm optimization, in that energy output, you can use this lidar sensor to measure the oncoming winds, the turbulence and speed of winds, by that protecting the components of that components and blades of that instrument, that the of that machine, which is measure the wind, which is used in a wind farm optimization, and also by that increasing the power. Law enforcement, that is this lidar speed guns are used by the police to measure the speed of vehicles for the speed limit enforcement purposes. That is, this lidar sensors are used in the used by the police also to calculate the speed of vehicles. So advantages. The other methods of topographic data collections are land surveying, GPS, interferometry, and photogrammetry. You can the other applications of these lidar sensors are land surveying, GPS, interferometry, and photogrammetry. In photogrammetric survey also you can go for lidar. The lidar technology has some advantages in comparison to these, that is higher accuracy, fast acquisition and processing, minimum human dependence, as most of the, that is nothing but as most of the processors are automatic, unlike photogrammetry, GPS, and land surveying. That is, in this lidar sensor, the most of the process is automatic. The most of the process is automatic, so less human requirement. So, and also what weather, it is also weather and light independence. So data collection independent of sun inclination and at night, and slightly bad weather. Slightly bad weather also you can go for this lidar, even sun inclination and night time. Canopy penetration. The lidar pulses can reach the beneath the canopy, thus generating the measurement of points, unlike photogrammetry. In photogrammetry you can't go beneath the canopies. Canopy is nothing but one covering area. When the area is covered by something, it may be by in forest by leaves, or any in ground by any cloth or any other material. So in that case also the laser will penetrate through that canopy and collect the data, but you can't do this in a photogrammetry. So so as compared to photogrammetry, this one is the one of the advantage. So higher data density. See, the density capacity of lidar, this lidar is up to 1,67,000 pulses per second you can go for, and more than 24 points per meter square can be measured in multiple returns of to collect the data in 3D. This is the capacity of this lidar. Cost, it has been found by comparative studies that lidar data is cheaper in many applications, not in all, but compared to other instruments in many applications it is cheaper. This is particularly considering the speed, accuracy and density of the data. So disadvantages: high operation cost. There are high operation costs as you are using in aeroplanes, aircrafts and helicopters. So that is, see, 10 lakhs per hour. 10 lakhs per hour the range. Ineffective during heavy rains or low clouds or mist. It is ineffective during heavy rains or very low cloud or mist. Degraded at high sun angles and reflections. If there is a high sun angles and reflection, then there is a lack of collecting the data. Latency data not processed locally, that is delayed in work, it will not process the locally. So unreliable for water depth which is less than 2 meter and breaking turbulent waves. So when there are heavy turbulence waves in water, it is unreliable or unsuitable. Lack of foliage or vegetable penetration. As compared to some of the other sensors, foliage is nothing but vegetable penetration in highly dense forest area. In that case, the penetration is less. Precise alignment must be maintained. To cover the area to collect the data, precise alignment must be maintained. The alignment should be precise. So this is about lidar sensors. Thank you.